For the first time ever, SpaceX has stacked a Super Heavy booster to its full height, effectively completing the assembly of the largest rocket booster ever built. Comprising of 36 of the steel rings which are also used to build the Starships, the first Super Heavy prototype, BN1, will stand roughly 70 meters tall. At that height, BN1 will be almost as tall as the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy rockets. Of course, the Super Heavy is just a booster, and the whole rocket system, when stacked with the Starship upper stage, will stand a whopping 120 meters tall, easily making it the tallest and likely the heaviest launch vehicle ever assembled. However, the first Super Heavy prototype, BN1, is not meant to fly. The first prototype is a pathfinder for the production of future boosters. Apart from this, BN1 will also serve as a learning platform for SpaceX's Starship team in how to actually transport a massive 70-meter tall booster to the launch mount. Even though BN1 will not see flight, it is expected to undergo ground testing. The prototype will likely undergo cryogenic proof tests and possibly even a static fire test with several engines mounted. If BN1's test campaign goes according to plan, the next prototype, BN2, will pick up from where BN1 leaves off and attempt the first ever hop of the massive Super Heavy booster. As recently revealed, SpaceX has an ambitious goal of attempting an orbital flight test of Starship and Super Heavy as early as July 2021. That's less than 4 months from now. Starship SN11 and Super Heavy BN3 are expected to be the first fully assembled rocket system to launch for orbit. However, it is important to note that this is an internal target and it is highly likely that we will see some delays. Currently, Starship SN11 is on the launch pad awaiting its turn for the high altitude flight test. Fairly recently, SN11 attempted a static fire test. However, due to some reasons, the test was aborted milliseconds before ignition. Starship SN11 will use a more refined landing method. Unlike SN10, which shifted to a single engine for the final phase of the landing, SN11 will use 2 engines all the way to touchdown. This is to make sure that the touchdown velocity remains low enough such that the landing legs can absorb the momentum of Starship. SpaceX has decided to skip SN12, 13 and 14 prototypes and directly jump to SN15. SN15 will boast an upgraded design and will likely attempt even higher altitude flight tests. The team at SpaceX is moving very rapidly in the development process of Starship, and with the ambitious goal of reaching orbit just few months from now, just increases the excitement even more. Given all the extraordinary problems that SpaceX will need to solve to reach orbit, there is also a decent chance that the first orbital launch attempt might fail. If the launch is initially successful, it is just as likely that Super Heavy will fail its first hypersonic launch and landing attempt. If Starship itself reaches orbit in one piece, any number of issues could kill the vehicle in space. If it survives long enough to line up for re-entry, descent and landing, Starship's first orbital velocity atmospheric re-entry, one of the biggest challenges in aerospace engineering, could easily destroy the spacecraft. If Starship somehow makes it through the re-entry on its first try, the stresses of the orbital spaceflight and the re-entry could prevent its Raptor engines from performing nominally, leading to some catastrophic landing failure. This is all just to say that even though SpaceX set its sight on the orbital flight, the trajectory is still a continuation of the ongoing test program and the iterative development process. Undoubtedly, there will be more SN8, SN9 and SN10 style hiccups along the way. However, given the development history of Starship, it is starting to look like SpaceX will undoubtedly reach orbit this year. What do you think? When will Starship reach orbit? And will the first attempt will actually be successful? Do let me know in the comment section. If you like the content, do consider subscribing the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.